Alrighty, we're back. Your favorite podcast show of the week. This is Location Weekly. It's episode number 534. We are recording live on September the 14th. Brianna, how are you? You're smiling.
I am smiling. There's nothing more to do but to smile, just like uh I am pushing through. We've been like, having lots of home repairs. Lots of people in the Northeast or like in, the Louisiana area had lots of damage from the Ida storm. And so we're just still pushing through with all of that. But at the end of the day, I am definitely smiling because we're all safe and healthy. And I'm very grateful for that, as I know there's a lot of people without homes in general and, that like had it so much worse. So, yes, just excited. My kids are back in school now, full time, and like now having some sort of a schedule. I just feel like, you know, a new season's coming. So I'm excited for that. Oh, and I went to my office for the first time last week in the city.
Awesome.
So that was interesting. So it was like a new adventure. And yeah, it was like, it was not normal, but it was nice to have, a few team members in the office together and kind of have that collaboration in person versus just here, on Zoom.
Yeah.
What's new with you?
Just kind of settling in here. Like, things are going well with the company, and we're just kind of ramping up for what we think is going to be a big fall season, and all sorts of new customers and opportunities in front of us right now. So excited about that. I've been watching a ton of Blue Jays baseball. The team is just on fire right now. I mean, 2 weeks ago, they were 9 games behind the Yankees for the wild card, and they're now the first wild card. They've won 11 out of 13, swept 4 games in of the Yankees in New York. Just beat Tampa last night, swept Oakland. Like, I mean, insane. Like, so I'm super excited. Like, we're in the hunt, right? And
Amazing, right?
it's unbelievable to go from where they were to where they are. Yeah, and Vladdy's like killing it. He's got the 45th home run last night. He's leading the league. So, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I actually like have caught one or two Braves games now, which has been nice. And they're still, I just pulled it up. They're still 4.5 games up, it looks like. So our teams are looking good.
Yeah, I
Good
know.
October.
I'm looking forward to it. So it's gonna be a fun run. So I'm hoping to get to a game this weekend as well. So we'll see how it
Awesome.
goes. But anyhow, we've got a good show for you. 4 stories as usual. A bunch of different things here. Some out of home, some AR, a little bit of some privacy things to be concerned about or not, depending on your perspective. I'll let Brianna start us off.
Okay. So we're going to go into the sneaker industry. And this is a brand retailer called Schuh Sneaker, and they are in the UK and I think in Ireland as well. And they have created this AR game to drive traffic to High Street. So this is kind of fun. They have this Schuh, and that's SCHUH sneaker hunt that's happening right now. And so they're challenging, consumers across London, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, Glasgow to have this real world surroundings kind of interactive map to seek out hidden shoe boxes, which can only be discovered within this game. And so you can do this on Apple or Android. So if you're in any of those cities, this campaign is actually running. The game's running through the 20th of September. So you have, a good week to get out there and explore this. But you can eventually get to this like virtual shoe box where you can get a bunch of different prizes, right? So I believe that one of the big prizes is $1,000 shoe voucher. So that sounds good. I love shoes. I have way too many of them. My husband complains about it all the time. So this is my kind of a prize. I would definitely get out there and participate. Sounds like a fun family event. So this was put together by Omnicom Media Group's PhD Manchester, and they did this in partnership with Verizon Media's RYOT Studio. So they're really trying to engage with, Gen Z, younger, families with families with young children, just to kind of get them back outside. Obviously, I think especially in London, I know that things were shut down a little bit longer than we had here in the States, and probably similar to what you had there in Canada. So I bet people are really just anxious to get out and kind of move around. So if you are in those cities, definitely check it out. I think this is fun. I like this because I think that I love the location aspect, obviously, and that you actually get to win something, and that it's interactive, but that it's also getting people outdoors and moving around and just kind of exploring in their city. I think there's so many fun things that you can do similar to this. What I would like to see, I'm not saying they didn't take this into consideration, but it wasn't mentioned in the stories that I read about this actual campaign, was just to have something more about social sharing, just to kind of have that organic growth and promoting the game available. But beyond that, I do like this. I think it's good ways to just get people maybe using the app, looking at what's available, shopping when you're looking at shoes. You get excited about that. Even if you don't win. And I'm sure that a lot of the shoe boxes that are found have like some type of a discount that will then lead to revenue. So I think overall, this is a fun campaign. And yeah, I wish they had it here. I'd go play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love looking at new shoes as they come out, especially like sneakers and things like that. And I actually just bought a pair to kind of change up. Like as you know, like in a normal world, you and I are both on the speaking circuit, so I think like for me anyways, having a nice pair of shoes is a part of that ensemble. And so yeah, so I like this campaign a lot. I think it's really fun. It's really engaging. It uses AR in a cool scavenger hunty way to kind of get people out there. But what I really like about it is that it's the brand is connecting with people. They're doing it in different cities across the UK where they operate. I think Schuh has over 130 stores from what I can see on just quick Google search. And I think that you go out, if you find these things, you can win the prizes. I think there's a fun element to that, but I think too, like, if they can, as you said, kind of have that discounting, couponing aspect to it, find the store near you, as you find that box, like that AR box out there, and actually connect the AR world to the physical world. I think that's really interesting, and I'm assuming there's, these things are strategically placed, right? These prize boxes that they're actually near, somewhat near physical stores. So I like it a lot. I think, with any of these campaigns, I think the one thing I always look for is there a way to also create some sort of social content that can be shared and to help amplify the messaging. So, but overall, I think this is great. I love these types of campaigns that get people out in the physical environment, exploring, whether it's Pokemon Go or a shoe virtual hunt. I think it's all good. So I want to see more of these kinds of things. I think especially as we come out of a pandemic, and we're trying to get people back out into high streets, back into the physical retail shopping environment. This is the exact kind of thing that people need to be doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's that. On to our second story now. Sticking with retail, Hannaford Supermarkets is experimenting with some new data analytics. They have, in some limited stores, are testing sensors on their shopping carts. And so these are some electronic trackers on the carts and the baskets, just in a limited number of stores. At the moment, they're not rolling this out yet across the entire network, but essentially what they're aiming to do is there's no personal data, there's no PII that's involved in this at all. They're simply wanting to understand the path that people are following within the store, and where people go and where they dwell and things like that. So very indoor location kind of stuff we would normally do with beacons or Wi-Fi or things like that. This time the sensors are actually on the carts or on the baskets, and they're kind of just tracking, sort of those patterns and movements. There's the article I read. There was a lot of pushback on, what does this mean from a privacy perspective, and what kind of signage did they put up to let people know about this and so on. I'm kind of, to me, this stuff's been around for a long time. This isn't like rocket science. As I said, tons of retailers of all industry types are, have been doing indoor, tracking, indoor positioning for a long time, right? I mean, Walmart does this, probably better than anybody else, right? They know exactly, through Wi-Fi and through other sensor technologies they have. They're working with companies like Shopper Track or Point Inside or, Path in Retail Next or Path Intelligence or any of these kinds of companies. There's lots of data analytics going on the path that people travel and where the high dwell times are and how they use that to affect planogramming or how much to charge for that end cap display and all that kind of stuff. And I think so, first of all, I like, if you're a retailer and you're not doing that, I think there's something wrong, right? You're not doing everything you can to optimize the performance of your store in your store network. So, first of all, I'm going to just say I applaud Hannaford for doing this because I think it's what they should be doing. And I'm surprised that like this is just something so new sounding here. From a privacy perspective, sure, I think it's everybody should be putting up signage of some sort, to just say, look, this kind of activity is going on in the store, but it's very passive, right? Like there's nothing, there's no facial recognition here. There's no, personal information that's being collected. It's a sensor on the shopping cart to see where the shopping cart goes, right? I mean, I'm not worried about that at all as a consumer. So I think this is great. I think it adds value to them. It helps them understand, how to optimize the performance of their store, and they should be doing that. What are your thoughts?
I agree. It's actually comical to me to think that people believe that there's any type of a privacy issue at all with tracking a shopping cart, because it is a cart that is used by multiple people. It is not your cell phone. It is not your car. It's not like anything that has to do with you. Um, and they should have been tracking carts from the beginning so that they didn't end up like in the far corners of the parking lot or under the overpass. But I do agree with you. I think that there is a benefit to both the consumer and to the retailer. So for the retailer, obviously, like you said, understanding foot traffic patterns, dwell times, like where certain people are stopping, maybe what's preventing like the better flow of the store. And then also from a consumer perspective, as stores plan and lay out things more effectively, it makes it easier for you just to get in and get out and find what you need. So I think that just having a better understanding of like where people are going, what's the path that they're taking, all of that information is really important. I mean, we talk a lot about like measurement and attribution. If you can't measure it, then you really can't, you can't quantify it. And so data is just so front and center to everything that we do in the marketing and advertising arena right now, that it's something that we have to continue to focus on, and we have to continue to iterate on how to measure things and how to understand that. So this is a pretty simple and straightforward way of doing that. I would love to see if they are able to maybe correlate the, even just like hourly data in terms of purchase data alongside of, the traffic patterns, so that they can understand like what people are actually buying during those times and during those patterns, and how that maybe is impacted as well. So, I like to geek out on the data, but I think this is good. And this, again, like you said, every retailer should be doing that has any type of a shopping cart or something that can be passively tracking movement throughout, the store.
Um, exactly. All right.
All right, so kind of sticking with like the measurement and attribution topic, there's a new partnership that is pretty exciting, Foursquare and Clear Channel Outdoor, which we've known both of these companies for a very long time, and they are partnering together and really focusing on digital out of home measurement. And not just digital out of home measurement, but kind of starting there and looking beyond that. But they are going to be providing brands with daily updated campaign performance metrics that will be tied, across traditional, printed as well as digital out of home displays. So they're merging their tools that they have. So Clear Channel has it's called Radar Proof, which is like time stamped ad tech. And then obviously we know about Foursquare's attribution product that they offer in terms of like footfall traffic and where, various people are going. So, there's lots of studies that happen, through various DSPs and advertising companies where ads are served to see like, hey, did this advertising actually lead people to go to the store? And so Foursquare has been measuring that for years. And obviously with Clear Channel Outdoors footprint and all of the billboard space and, digital billboards as well, this partnership makes a lot of sense. So Foursquare attribution can actually confirm if the same person who saw a specific ad, went into the store. So they'll be connecting those digital billboards, the location-based marketing, and then being able to have insights derived from that could be influential and helpful for brands who are trying to really tailor their campaigns for the future in terms of better understanding their consumers as a whole. They're also using this to test for new ways of measuring out of home. And they have been working with the Out of Home Advertising Association of America, or the OAAA. So they recently refined their guidelines to measurement. They're trying to shift to this impressions-based measurement for out of home. And so how do you measure impressions in an out of home environment? Really that's where the Foursquare play comes in. And with Clear Channel having like such a large presence, they're one of the largest outdoor companies. They've got 500,000 print and digital displays across 31 countries. And Foursquare really has been trying to position themselves as this measurement partner, right? Like that's really what they want to be. They want to be able to measure media across all different, all different devices, really. And this is really kind of where they've been working towards. We see that from the acquisitions that they've had through Factual, through Placed, right? Like it just makes sense. They're kind of building that empire. And as they aren't actually serving the advertising themselves, they really are trying to be that, kind of verified third party to do that. So I think they're also really focused on something that, is close for me as well, which is like, how do we know if a consumer who was exposed to a television ad, or both, digital out of home and a television ad, what's like the efficacy of that? How impactful is that? How many touch points do you need and across which devices? Like what's the best combination? And how does that change by vertical, by brand? All of those things is something that I spend a lot of time thinking about. And I know brands and retailers are spending a lot of time thinking about. So I think this partnership is smart. It makes sense. It's like definitely the direction that the industry is going, not just in digital out of home, but just like across any measurable, media that we can have. So I like this. Good partnership. I expect a lot out of it.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add to it because I think you've covered it off. I mean, you got two of the biggest players here. First of all, Clear Channel in the out of home space, and Foursquare on location attribution. I mean, coming together to build something that I think here is quite powerful. And I guess my comments, if any, are really around the last part that you were just talking about, which is that ability to kind of take this across channels, right? To incorporate the television pieces, incorporate some of the other touch points, not unlike the story we covered last week, right? Even with Talon out of home, and the Mad Hive guys with where they were going after digital out of home to OTT, right? And kind of looking for ways to measure that, and so I think there's a lot of emerging solutions right now around finding different ways to attribute or to measure the performance of out of home. Obviously, location data plays a huge role in that, in knowing who went by that billboard or who saw that ad. Whether it's a car driving by or a person walking by, and mobile device is on them, right? It's the obvious way to measure that, and and then if you can then link that up to other forms of media, then I think you become something that's really extremely valuable to the media buying community and the ad agencies, right? That are looking for just ways to justify the price points for this, right, when they go out to to the different brands. So I like this partnership. I think it makes a ton of sense. Kind of surprised that it's taken this long, I guess, for these two to come together. But I think I expect big things from them. So all right, on to our final story now. So there's a company out there called Alfi, ALFI. They are a artificial intelligence and facial recognition company that has some ambitious plans to disrupt, the way that advertising is delivered to screens in a personalized way at an airport or a shopping mall or in the back of an Uber or whatever the case might be. Very much, they're going after this sort of idea of individualized, personalized advertising to people as they walk by or sitting, in proximity of one of these screens. Very Minority Report, Tom Cruise type of stuff, where the screen knows who you are and is delivering, something that is unique to you. And they use facial recognition technology to do this. I should actually clarify what I would classify as facial detection versus recognition. So they claim they don't do any personally identifiable information, that it's fully GDPR compliant, their system, and that they're really just showing ads based on age, gender, ethnicity, things like that. Looking for small facial cues, expressions, and so on. And that's kind of the sort of formula that they use to deliver these ads. They've got a partnership that they announced in July with Uber drivers. So Uber claims that there's no formal partnership, but the partnership is directly with the drivers. And so they've got screens in the back of Uber cars and are testing this out. There's a revenue sharing model to the drivers, which seems quite lucrative around this. If it actually works, they claim that an Uber driver can make $325 a month in just rev share off of a platform like this. They say they have 50,000 drivers who've signed up on a wait list to receive one of their tablet screens that they put in the back of the vehicles. So that's a big number. They have a pilot running right now at Sao Paulo Airport in Brazil with some screens within the airport. It's interesting, right? Like I think I can see kind of the value of what they're building here from an advertiser perspective. I can see the opportunity for drivers and revenue sharing, but it's the chicken and egg model right here. Like that, this is the problem with this type of business, right? You look at it and go, you have to go and build, a pretty wide, expansive network, and, get these screens, get these tablets out into airports, into cars, into places, and have enough, eyeballs that are looking at this that an advertiser is really going to care, right? And I know this firsthand. One of my previous startups that I built years ago was a Wi-Fi network company here in Canada. Tried to put free Wi-Fi into Starbucks and McDonald's and Tim Hortons locations up here, and monetize that through advertising. And there was interest for sure, and but at the end of the day, like if you don't have density of locations, the advertisers are going to look at it and go, I need you to have 5,000, 10,000 of these for it to be something that's worthwhile to me in terms of eyeballs. Or they look at it and they go, I'm going to cherry pick, and I only want the this Starbucks location at the main train station, and that's it, right? And I don't care about the rest. And so it's a bit of that sort of struggle, but I think that from a tech perspective, personalized advertising, in this type of digital, signage model it's got some opportunity, it's got some potential. But I think unless these guys are like incredibly well funded, building that network is gonna be the challenge.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add. I think you kind of covered all of the concerns, like around, yes, privacy, even if it is more of a contextual facial detection versus, just to try to like bucket you into an audience. I think it gives people pause, because if you can capture that, then, that data somewhere is there probably. And so that is something that is like somewhat concerning. But again, I think that from a business model, you really like nailed it. And that is the scale there? Are the impressions available? Because other than just like a local mom and pop that may want to advertise here and there in their area, it's really going to be hard to get those top name brands and those premium dollars on that platform. So I think that there's like definitely, some challenges ahead for the company on both fronts. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, that's our show for this week. 4 stories. Some interesting things there. If you're in the UK, go out and find the Schuh AR campaign. You got another week left there to go and win yourself some serious $1,000 worth of sneakers, which is pretty cool. I'd be all over that for sure. Check out the sensors in the Hannaford shopping carts if you're in the neighborhood where they operate, and keep your eye on companies like Alfi and what Foursquare and Clear Channel are doing, because it's interesting. I think there's definitely Foursquare Clear Channel. There's a lot of potential for that opportunity to kind of change the way the industry gets measured, but. And I'm sure the OAAA is all over that as well, as you indicated, and then we'll see where Alpha goes. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time. This has been episode number 534 of Location Weekly. We'll be back next week with another show. Please reach out if you have story ideas, feedback. We'd love to hear about it. And have a great week. Bye.
Bye.